Right now we're traveling through the fine town of Mukwonago, and I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Now at this point today, February 18th, the Switch is 2 weeks away, right? Yeah, about 2 weeks away from being released to the masses. In case you guys haven't figured out, I'm a big video gamer. It's my second passion, basically. I enjoy chilling, playing video games. I've been a fan of video games since pretty much my first Nintendo. And I'm here to offer my first impressions on what the Nintendo Switch is and what I think about it. Now, I've done my research, I've done my digging of what the Nintendo Switch is. I've seen the videos, I've read the articles. I've listened to podcasts of people talking about the Nintendo Switch and what their impressions are. They're overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's, there's not a lot of people out there that say, fuck Nintendo, I hate Nintendo. Everybody acknowledges that Nintendo has pretty much been a revolutionary game company and has pretty much defined what video gaming is today. They were one of the first ones that brought home consoles to the market and really popularized it. So right now we're at a point where Microsoft and Sony pretty much have a corner on the home console market. Nintendo's kind of lagged behind in a hardware and technical spec sense. So Nintendo is basically taking on the form of the innovator. The ones that are trying new things, the ones that are trying to revolutionize what it means to play video games at home. They revolutionized and blew everybody away with the Wii, and that basically introduced motion controls. It kind of worked for them, and it kind of didn't, because eventually that kind of style of play died down. Not a lot of people were into it. It brought a lot of people in, enticed them, and brought them in initially, but eventually it just kind of faded away. It was a fad, so to speak. So now with Nintendo having a failure of the Wii U system, what could they do now to stay relevant? What could they do now to save themselves? Because basically, let's get it out there, the Nintendo Wii U failed. There was a lot of promise, there was a lot of good games for it, I'll admit. I have a Wii U and I have a lot of games for it, but by and large, it failed. It failed in sales, it failed in appeal, and it was I'm pretty sure from other developer standpoints, they didn't have a lot of that great third-party support. This minivan's going to town. That's loose strap. What can Nintendo do to get back on top? Bring in the Nintendo Switch. Now basically, I'll spare you the details because I imagine you'll just do your research on your own. But the Nintendo Switch is basically a tablet. Now I know what you're thinking, the Wii U was kind of a tablet, but this is the centerpiece of the Nintendo Switch is a tablet. It's a tablet that you can dock into a docking station and play it on your TV, but if you wanted to take a console game and go play it elsewhere, you take the tablet out of the dock and then you can go play it wherever else you want. Genius. Now, a lot of people have questions, and obviously so do I, is what's the hardware like? What's the capabilities? Well, that's a lot of information that we are not privy to at the moment. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of developers out there that do know what's in it. Obviously, they're developing games for it, and they have to know what's in it and what kind of games they're capable of making. We don't know in terms of hardware, is it comparable to the PS4? Is it on par with it in terms of hardware? Or is it slightly less? And most people are thinking, well, it's a tablet. It can't be any more powerful or even on par with PS4 and Xbox One. I mean, who knows? We don't know yet. I'm thinking, from my personal opinion, it's got to be, at the very least, close to specs, hardware specs, to PS4 and Xbox One. What Nintendo's trying to do is Nintendo's trying to get back on par with third-party developers to say, hey, you can make your games for Xbox, you can make your games for PC and the PS4, but we want you to make games for us too. So hardware-wise, they have to make the system as close to, if not matching, hardware specs with those systems to make development for it easier. Because that was the thing, when PlayStation 4 and Xbox One came out, the Wii U had graphics in comparison to the 360 and PS3. And developers obviously are jumping ship going over to make games for the PS4 and Xbox One, but they can't make games for the Wii U because, well, the hardware just doesn't add up, doesn't match up. And the one great thing about all the news that's been coming out with the Nintendo Switch is third-party developers are totally on board. And there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of positivity surrounding the system. I mean, the fact that you could take the game that you're playing at home and go to work and take the tablet with you and still play it. There's no huge graphical downgrade. I mean, it down-res this to 720p in comparison to playing 1080p on your TV if the game is played in 1080p. But it is capable of playing 1080p graphics in 60 frames a second. So basically, what are the things that I like about it? It's got detachable controllers on the side of the tablet, so that if you wanted to play local co-op, you know, it's two little controllers. They look like about this big. So who knows, I haven't obviously held one yet. And basically the two controllers that are on the side of the tablet can dock into an actual controller dock. So when you're playing games that require dual analog support, you know, you can play like this with the controllers completely separated, or you can put it in a dock, or you buy a Pro controller, which the Pro controller is kind of on par and looks similar to what the Xbox One controller looks like. Only downside to that, it's $70. Jeez. You don't need it, but why not have it? So the main draw of it is the fact that if you wanted to play a console game, you can take it with you. Now the amazing part about this is that it's loaded off cartridges. So think of like a larger SD card. The games are loaded right off of that. You don't need a disc drive for it. So it takes away almost half the space of what a PS4 and an Xbox One are. The only downside is that if you're the type of person who likes to download games, the small little 32 gigabyte SD card that's packed in it isn't going to cut it. So it may have to force you to buy physical copies of games. What I think Nintendo's always been known for is really bringing fun into gaming. That's what it should be about. They've always said that from day one. We're not a major hardware company where we're concerned about getting the strongest, the best hardware capable to play, you know, graphics with that are immensely high resolution and, you know, these huge games. Nintendo's never been about that. They've always been about bringing fun to it. Fun to their games. That's what it's about. And they've done that with the Switch. You can play co-op, you can play it off the screen, you can play it off the TV. You can link up almost up to 8 tablets together. So if you're at an airport or if you're at a friend's house and you want to play co-op, you can play right off the tablet and connect with that other person. You don't need a Wi-Fi connection. I think it's just seamless. Yeah, it's always easy. They do have online support, so you can play online with friends. But sometimes, you know, you want that couch co-op experience where you get together with a few people, you sit around and you play games together in the same room. I always thought that's what video games have been missing lately. Yes, there are going to be those times where playing online together is going to be the best way. So you're not logistically trying to, you know, get together with people and arranging visits. What are some downsides that could potentially hurt Nintendo here? Well, you know, it could be that it's not hardware and graphically capable of competing with the PS4 and the Xbox One. Right now, the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One Scorpio, whenever that comes out, you know, those are going to be very powerful systems, and I don't think Nintendo is going to be able to compete with that. Those are obviously systems that are going to be playing 4K resolution style stuff. Woo! My favorite road. The Nintendo Switch obviously is not going to. The battery life, a lot of people have been kind of complaining about because, oh, it's not long. You're talking an average between 2.5 to 6 hours of battery life. You know, depending if you have the resolution up, if you have the brightness up, if you're connected to Wi-Fi, or if you're playing a graphically demanding game like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But I don't foresee that being a big issue with a lot of people. Where are you going to be at that you're going to want to play for 6 hours straight? I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. You know, you can charge it on the go. The SD card thing, I hope, when the 2 terabyte memory cards start coming out, I hope that they're not going to be ridiculously expensive. Because that could be an issue, especially if you're downloading games. But I mean, in all honesty, I really think Nintendo's got it. I think Nintendo's going to definitely outsell the Wii U. They've already got the developer support. A lot of people are saying that the development for it is much easier than in past Nintendo systems. Porting a game from a PC is supposed to be super easy as well. I'm not a developer, but that's what I've heard in the research I've done. So I really think Nintendo's got it right with this one. I got it reserved. I'm going to be standing in line at midnight when it comes out in 2 weeks. I'm basically spending over $300. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The price point, $300. Yeah, it's not the cheapest system that you could buy right now. You could buy a PlayStation 4 Slim or an Xbox One S for cheaper than that. But Nintendo's got a new system. They have to compete. They got to make money off this system. Eventually the price will drop. I think they could have made it a lot more. If they'd have made it any less, there would have been no way they would have made any money on this thing. And let's be real. Video gaming is a business. It's a business. They got to make money if they want to churn out good content, if they want to bring good games, and if they want to entice developers. $300, I think, is awesome, actually. And now we wait to see, basically, when it comes out in 2 weeks, how it's going to fare, how it's going to appeal to gamers. It's a good mix between hardcore gamers and the casual gamers. It's going to bring a lot of people together. So if you agree with me or disagree with me, hey, put it down in the comments. Keep it civil. I think it should be civil. But let me know what you think. If you're on board with me and my positivity for it, or if you're against me, if you think Nintendo once again is going to fail, let me know. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace! Oh. You sore?
My legs.
Yeah? I know. I haven't done this in a while.